Welcome to another episode of the Professional Woman's Escape Plan. My name is Ebony Cruz. I'm your entrepreneur coach, guiding your cruise to success. Because remember, whatever your skill, your expertise that you do have, you can take that bad boy and turn it into a profitable yet scalable business. You just got to know how to do it. Now, this episode, we're going to talk about YouTube because part of the program that we teach you all is selecting the platform in which you want to grow your business. See, as entrepreneurs, some of us jump on and we want to do a podcast. We want to do Facebook Lives, YouTubes. We want to have all the guys. We want to do it all. And then we wonder why we get overwhelmed, we get stuck, we stop and we quit. However, we never quit for good because we start over in about 3-4 months because that vision is still inside of us. So today we have YouTube expert Simone. Miss Simone, let me tell you, this girl, I ran across her on social media and really didn't know much about YouTube, really didn't know who she was. But another lady that I work with, her name is Dr. Selena Baker. She raves about Simone, about how amazing she is and how she's growing her channel and how strategic she is when it comes to YouTube. So without further ado, I'm going to bring our YouTube expert on. You're going to get to know her and hopefully connect with her after you hear some of the knowledge and jewels she drops. So, hey, Simone.
Hello, how are you?
I am doing good, looking good on this beautiful Tuesday morning.
It's Tuesday. I love it. I love Tuesdays, girl.
All right, so let's just get into getting a little bit know a little bit more about you. We were talking a little bit earlier, so you're a Nashville, Tennessee chick, huh?
Ma'am, Nashville, born and raised, lived there for 25 years. And then after that, I was like, it's time to go.
It's time to get out of there. So was it college or was it just a job, you just made the move someplace?
No, actually, I've always wanted to live in Atlanta even before I went to college, but
Okay.
I kind of had the opportunity after me and my now husband was like, okay, you know what? We don't like Nashville, and we lived in Chattanooga for like a year. He's from Chattanooga, and I was like, I don't like Chattanooga because it's too small.
Yeah.
So let's go to another city that's kind of like Nashville in size, but not too far away from our families.
Right.
Atlanta was perfect. So that's
Right.
where we are.
Yeah, Atlanta is the perfect little hub. It
hmm
is the perfect little hub.
hmm
So, you do YouTube, and before we even get into just the dynamic of YouTube, what attracted you to learning YouTube and then wanting to teach YouTube to others?
So what attracted me, it wasn't even me, to be honest. So I had a coach and we were coaching at the time because I was in a network marketing business.
Gotcha.
And he was like, well, are you afraid of being on video? And I was like, yeah, it's 2013. I'm like 23 years old at the time. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be on it. I talk Southern. I'm from Nashville. Sometimes words have a Southern slang to it. I was like, I'm not feeling it, but I can take pictures all day. So he was like, well, what I need you to do is go ahead, whatever we just learned, take one of those lessons and put it on YouTube, because I really feel like YouTube is going to be really good for you, because at the time there wasn't a lot of women on the platform. So I did it. I did it. I kept continuously posting videos and getting better, learning different things. And what made me want to teach YouTube was seeing how powerful it was. But there's so many women entrepreneurs who are like, I don't know what to do. I gotta
Mm,
get started. They're like, oh, okay, well, my face has to be done. I gotta have the perfect content, the perfect lighting, perfect videos. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like
right.
to me, like I have a small channel, but that channel has led me to having a 5-figure business. You don't have to have the perfect channel in order to make the income that you want and to serve the clients that you want. So that's why I love teaching YouTube on YouTube, to show
Right.
people how to really grow their online business.
Right. So when you started, I'm assuming you didn't have your signature course, right? When you
No.
started, you were still trying to navigate through that. So if someone was listening and they're saying, okay, yeah, but I look at your channel, it is perfect. You say that, but it is perfect. Tell us about, getting started and perfectly creating what you have done so far.
So, I mean, basically, I just started with what I had. So at the time, I had my Windows PC. It was a Dell laptop. I still remember it to this day. Had a like a little webcam camera recommended by my coach, and I said, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and create this video. This video took me 3 hours to make because I was in my head. I was like, oh my gosh, this is YouTube. Everybody's about to watch this video, and I just did it, and I learned editing that same day, learned how to edit and everything. So it just takes time, but you
Right.
have to continuously keep going, and you have to upgrade your equipment as you keep going. You're going to learn different recommendations from other people. I had purchased my softbox lights, my lighting from a previous coach of mine. I still work with her to this day. Um, purchased those lightings. I don't have a DSLR camera. I use literally my cell phone to create all of my video content on my YouTube channel. You can't even tell. That's the thing about
Right.
it. Like, you can't tell that it's a cell phone, but I use a cell phone for all of my videos. So, I mean, you just have to continuously get started with what you have and upgrade as you can. And that's just the power of how wonderful YouTube is, cuz all of the camera quality that we have on our phones is so good. Like,
Right.
it could beat a DSLR camera any day. But you have people who are like, "Oh, you need this, you need that." And you just literally have to get started with what you have right now and work your way up.
Right. That's one of the main things that I love to talk about is that for me, for the longest, it was like I don't have all the equipment. So I'm like, I gotta buy all the equipment. So
Mhm.
that was my excuse for stalling out for a while. Like I gotta get the equipment. But at the time I was on Facebook and but
Yeah.
I would never do a Facebook live. And my business coach was like, why aren't you doing live? I'm like, man, I am not getting on video. One person looking
I
at me.
know.
Like that's not happening. So I went to YouTube because I'm like, oh, it's pre-recorded. I could do
Mhm,
me and put it up and then be good to
mhm.
go. So for
Yes.
me, when I started YouTube, it just blew out of nowhere. I don't even know how it grew. So
Yeah.
I had to fall back and learn what did you do to get there.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So when it comes to trial and error, what was one of the things that you experienced that you said, I can never do this again? This was the worst thing I could have done, or it could have been a great thing for your business. It could have enhanced your business, but you weren't prepared for the flow that came through after you were testing something.
Oh, let me tell you. So let's talk about that. So that happened last year. And it was a lot going on last year. So number one, I had quit my job, just quit my job because I was like, you know what, I'm tired. Number two, my stepfather had passed away from
Mm,
terminal brain cancer. So it was a lot going on. And I talked to this about my husband, or I talked to my husband about this all the time. I wasn't prepared for what happened. So of course, with me creating, content on YouTube, and I'm always getting the question, how do I get started? I decided to create a $37 YouTube course just to basically share with everyone how to get started. Like, it just answered that question.
right,
I did not know that it was going to take off the way that it did. That course has now made over $20,000 just from $37.
right.
And I could not keep up with the momentum. And because of that, it was because of me going through certain things with my
Yeah.
stepfather. I just wasn't ready.
Right. You wasn't ready. You wasn't it was a blessing in
It was
disguise.
it was because it led me to say, like, "Oh, okay, you can do this. You can do this." But with everything that was going on, I was just like, I'm not feeling it. So I
Mm,
don't regret me putting it out, because it did help people grow their channel. It helped people, get more clients and things like that in their business, which is great. Like, it was
right.
fantastic. But it was on the emotional aspect. And I don't think most women entrepreneurs kind of understand, like, okay, yes, your business can be going, and it can be going good. There's always going to be something that happens. We
Right.
always try to strive for this perfect business. Are you really prepared for what can happen?
Right.
And that's the thing that most people don't get. I wasn't prepared for what was going to happen. He wasn't supposed to pass away until May of this year. So seeing that it was a 6-month transition, like from his diagnosis to when he passed, I wasn't ready.
Right.
So it's like, are you always going to be ready for, like, whatever is going to happen? No, not really. But you just have to kind of embrace it. But it was a good thing. Like, I loved it, and it led me to do other things in my business, but I was like, "Oh my god, I can't keep up with the momentum," and it just died out
Right.
completely.
And that's probably where you had to go back and redo processes
Yes,
and create
yes,
a foundation. So you
yes.
said something in reference to you quit your job.
Yeah.
Now, I got to scratch on the surface of that because a lot of listeners are at a space. We call this podcast, this program, the Professional Woman's Escape Plan, because there are a lot of professional women, whether it's corporate, whether it's regular 9 to 5, whether the everyday hustle, that are unhappy in their workplace, and it could be for several reasons. I have kids and I don't get to spend a lot of time with my kids, or I'm not making enough, or I need 2 or 3 different jobs, and they're stuck in between a place of where I need my job to pay bills, the rat race, but I want to start this business.
Mhm.
So I'm a part-time entrepreneur,
Mhm.
and some months I'm pushing, and some months I forget that this business even exists. What is something that made you say, I'm making a decision, I'm quitting my job? And how was your support system around that?
So number one, let's start with the support system. So the support system, and I'm gonna tell you, and I love to be like completely transparent with people about my journey.
Right.
I would have not been able to do it if my husband was not really completely supportive on this process.
Gotcha.
Because at the time we were engaged, things like that. We literally just got married 2 months ago, so I
Congratulations,
still new
newlywed.
to
Yes.
yeah, it's really different. But I will always come home and I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this no more. I can't do it. He's like, okay, just quit.
You're like, what?
Wait. Wait. Yeah. I'm like, are you sure? Like I asked him this all the time. He's like, I don't know why you keep asking me. Just quit. He was like, I can handle it. He's like, as long as you can make your car payment and pay the internet bill, I don't care what you do.
You're good.
I was like, please don't tell me.
Like, let me pinch
I was
myself.
like,
Let me make sure
you
it's good.
sure? Like, are you sure? So that's I want to start with that. If it
Okay.
wasn't for him and his support and his continuous support, even now, I would not be able to do it. Now, what led me to quit my job? Let's put it this way. At the time, I was working Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. 12 p.m. noon to 11:30 p.m. at night. Okay.
Oh,
I am not a
wow.
night person at all. I am a morning person. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning every day. That was a struggle for me. Now, on top of that, I was driving 100 miles a day just to go to work, 50 one way, 50 back.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
Yes. Now, with my husband being a firefighter, of course, there are some days when he is not at home because he has to be at the station 24 hours. If something was to happen to me in the middle of the night as I'm driving home, who's going to come to me? Who's going to come and help me? And that was the issue for me because as a woman, I don't want to be on the road late at night like that. So
Yeah.
I was like, I can't, for my own safety, I don't want to do this. But I was also dealing with medication robots. So pharmacy technician by trade. So I'm in a pharmacy and they have like these automated robots and they're making medications for the pharmacy, for the
Right.
hospital. The machines will always break down. I couldn't access my phone in there. You can't like try to run a
Yeah.
business while you're doing all this. And all these sales are coming in and still dealing with my stepfather too. And I was like, you know what? I can't do this.
This isn't it,
I,
right?
I can't. It's like to me, like you want me to be the problem solver of these big, $500,000 robots. I can't do that. That's a lot of work. And on
Right.
top of that, trying to still keep up with production for the pharmacy for the entire hospital. No. So I just went ahead and quit. I quit. And
Took the leap.
I just took the leap. And one of the things that I was listening to and I read is called When to Jump. It's a book by Mike Lewis.
When to jump.
I
Okay.
used to listen to that on the way to work, on the way home from work, and it was just like it just kept tugging at me. You gotta go. You gotta go because this is not serving you anymore. So that's what I did. But I couldn't have done it without my husband's support. But that's how that happened.
Right. That support is it's an amazing thing. And I think we spoke a couple of podcasts ago about the support, not only with your spouse, if those that are close with parents, kids, for me, I'm a mother of 3. And mother of 4. I cannot disregard. I just recently lost a child,
Oh,
and yeah, during pregnancy and all. And when you tell me your story about losing your dad, and you're like, that was your push and why you started going, part of my healing journey is pushing more in my business, because grief is hard to deal with. And I was like, I cannot sit around and cry all day. I got to find another way for my outlet. But I
mhm,
say that to say is that, my kids, my oldest is 17.
mhm.
My youngest is 3, and I got a middle knucklehead that's 14. Now he's my problem child. But with all their schedules,
Yeah.
spouse, my parents, I was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm not going back to work after this grieving period. I think I'm
Exactly.
going to just,
Exactly.
and at first my mom was like, "You need your pension, you're going to get rid of that. And
Girl,
you need that." I'm like, "A pension? Man, do you know what I'm going through at this place?"
like, I'm not worried about that. Like, who? No, I'm not worried about that at all.
Yeah, because obviously to make five figures in your business, your expertise has turned into not only just a business that you can live and sustain off on, but now you're in a space where you're scaling. You're
Hmm.
starting to scale your business.
Hmm.
So let's get into, this money's coming in, is overflow. You
Yeah.
got to reduce some processes. Let's get into now. How did you transition a little bit to start scaling, to get comfortable, to
Hmm.
basically start coasting a little bit in your business, as you already leveraged the expertise now, but now you figured it out. Now there's other options. When did you start it kind of push and go, and where did you see that?
It was really a decision that I had to make, and I didn't really understand that the mindset that I needed for it wasn't working out. So of course, we try to, as employees, we're always waiting for people to tell us what to do. Hey, you
Hmm.
can do this. Hey, you can go do that. And I still was bringing that mindset into the new business that I had with no job. So my thing is, I'm like, okay, I can't sit around and sit here and wait for somebody to tell me what to do. I am the CEO. I am the one who created this business, filed the LLC with the state of Georgia. I am the one who created this. So whatever I decide to do, it's my decision, and I'm going to do it no matter what happens. I don't care if it doesn't work. Okay, great. It's a trial and error thing,
Right.
right? So that's the mindset that I had to have, was that nobody can tell me what to do anymore.
Right.
And, even with when we have coaches, and I'm not like talking bad about coaches or anything like that, but when we have coaches, they always try to tell you, this is what you should do. This is what you should do. But when you have a coach, and this is my experience, if you have a coach that's like, well, you want to talk to them about scaling your business and doing certain things that you are comfortable with, and they tell you, well, that's not the vision that I have for you.
Yeah.
Wait a second. No, like I was so upset about that. And I literally bawled my eyes out because I was like, wait, like you're really telling me that I am not capable of doing what I want to do.
Right.
And what I wanted to do was, yes, I still teach about YouTube, but I wanted to tell them, hey, let's grow an online business. Let's
Right.
learn about webinars. Let's learn about challenges and funnels and email marketing, things like that. Like that's something that I still get excited for to this day. Like I love all about that, and I love YouTube. So I just decided to say I'm going to create this course. I purchased Danielle Leslie's course from scratch, and I said, okay, we're going to learn how to do this.
The platform, right. Gonna
Yes,
learn the
and then
foundation.
grow it, right?
Yeah.
And that course went on to make over 10,000 from nobody telling me it's not a good thing and that's not the vision I have for you.
Yeah.
So I think that's what helped me scale the business, is I had to have that mindset, like I can do what I want, this is my business, whatever, but also saying, okay, I want to show you how to go from here to here and learn how to scale your business while I'm also scaling my business at the same time.
Right. Right.
Mhm.
So being the CEO, now you got to create your new schedule.
Yes.
And a part of leaving your job and, creating your own schedule, you still got to make time for life, for yourself.
Mhm.
How do you do that? And what is some advice you'll give for someone who's trying to transition, but to make sure that they stay on task, they're doing productive product or tasks in their business daily,
Mhm.
but also they're not overwhelmed, they're not beat down, they still have time for life.
I would say utilize a calendar to your fullest extent. Google Calendar is my best friend. I put everything in my calendar, from the time that I'm going to be working. Okay, I'm gonna have lunch from this time. Like it's on a schedule.
Right.
And when my husband is at home and he's, like he may be coming home from the shift, I'm like, okay, well, I could work a little bit because I know he's gonna sleep because he's been up all day. So
Right.
he's going to sleep from this time to this time. And then after that, I'm not doing nothing else because it's just me and him. So it's always utilizing a calendar and always trying to make sure that you do spend time with your kids, your significant other, things like that, because I was just so hunkered down into my business that I wasn't spending time with him, whether it is just watching TV that I don't watch, but watching TV, I was like, I'm not spending time with him. So that's one of my biggest things is utilizing a calendar, sticking with it, having time increments, but also making sure that you are working on your business and not in it.
In
That
your business,
that's the
right?
biggest thing that people are like, "Oh, okay, well, I gotta do this, I gotta do that," and they operate from a to-do list. I don't do to-do lists. I just say, "Okay, what's the next thing that I need to be doing to help progress me further?"
To
I
the
don't write
next,
a to-do list anymore. I'm just like,
right?
"Okay, all the stuff on my desk here, it's all stuff that does need to be done, but it's not like a important thing to do."
Got you.
So that's how I kind of make all of that work is using the calendar and saying, okay, what's the next step that's going to get me from where I am to where I need to be or where I want to be and work that way instead of having a to-do list for every single day.
Right. All right, so I want to go into asking a little bit about you went with YouTube for your platform,
Hmm.
and we set a $37 course. So I run into a lot of people that are saying, I don't know how much to charge. Like, should I charge $500? Should I charge, is it a premium product right now? Or, should it be $2? How do I decide how much, am I really worth? Because at this point on a job, your employer tells you what you're worth with the salary.
Exactly.
But on your own, you're telling yourself what you're worth, but you got to believe it in order to even attract those clients. So how do you decide, or how would you help someone kind of guide them as far as deciding, where should this course reside, or where should this podcast, whichever, as
Mhm.
far as what service product they're offering, a startup cost for them?
I would always say like you have to have like a product suite. So you have to say, okay, well, and I teach this to my YouTube students too. You have a product suite. You have your free offer, and then you have the next level up, and then you have the next level up and the next level, all the way till it gets to you to where you're like, okay, my time is invaluable. I could charge $10,000 an hour if I want to.
Yeah.
So that's how I kind of determine like what prices that I wanted to go for, but they don't necessarily just stick with the, oh, okay, well, this is free. The next one's going to be 500, the next one's going to be 1,000. It's always based upon, okay, where are my students now? And where do I think, or where I know where they want to be? And that's kind of how I set the prices. Now, am I sometimes comfortable with those prices? Absolutely not. I'm not. Like I'm gonna be honest, I'm not because I literally created a payment plan for the program that I did last year. I'm going to redo it, but the price is like 10 times more than what it
Yeah.
was. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Like, I'm nervous about it, but when that price really feels right with you, that's the price because I've never had that. I've never had that for me. Like when I set a price and I felt comfortable about it, I set that price for the new program and I was like, yeah, all
Yep.
right, no problem. Like I'm not second guessing myself.
Yep.
I know how much I'm worth. I know the value that I have. So that's the one thing that I tell people about pricing. It's what you are comfortable with.
Right.
Don't let anybody tell you, oh, you're charging too low or that's too high. I can't afford it. People are going to afford what they want. Number one, they're going to pay for what they want, but you can't sit there and say, oh, well, you know what? It's too low, or, my price is too high. Let me lower it. Don't ever lower your prices ever.
Right.
Um, but it's basically about what you're comfortable with. And
Yeah.
once you feel that comfortableness, you're like, yeah, I could do this. Let me set it at $500. And then once you get the testimonials and the results, and you're like, you know what, this is way much more than 500. Let me go ahead and increase the price. So it's just kind of that's how you do it.
Right. All
Mhm.
right. So before we wrap up, I know I'm looking at our time here. But I want to get into investing in not only education, but also other experts in
Mhm.
in areas you don't know. So another stopping point for not only mindset, but it's the tech. I don't know how to do this. Or when you said I had to learn how to literally edit in one day, those are pieces that people
Mhm.
they just procrastinate,
Yeah.
or they say, I don't want to pay for this, or they like, let me get the free course and I'm not going to pay the $8,000 to the coach in the program.
Mhm.
How was investing for you, and how did it help you grow your business?
I love investing, and anytime that I can without trying to like overstretch myself, I will do it because I know that whoever is teaching, if I feel like I have a great connection with them, whether it's from their webinars, whether it's from, their podcast episodes or, just any type of free content, if I feel that type of connection and I'm like, you have what I need to learn,
Yeah.
and I want to invest in it. So just for example, I just invested in a Facebook ads course because number one, I was like, I need the information and I feel comfortable with how you're teaching me on your free content. So let me go ahead and invest. So I'm always big on investing. And I've tried to grow my business for free. I'm not gonna lie, earlier stages, because I was like, who has $200? At the time I didn't have $200. So I'm like, who has $200 to spend on this? Not me. So of
Right.
course I'm like, let me just go to YouTube. Like you can go to YouTube and learn everything that you need to know. But think about how much time that you're taking
Yeah.
away from your business, away from your family, away, it's going to take a longer time for you to do what it is that you need to do. What I can pay somebody for the knowledge, the expertise, and get it in a quicker time, learn how to implement it, get results,
Right.
and keep going. So I always feel like if you can, without overstretching yourself, always invest into something, a coach, a course, something. Not I never say like don't do it because I'm like it can really help you. It really
Right.
can. But once you can and you're like, you know what, I could do it. Let's do it. So that's how I feel about it. I'm always investing into something, but it's always something that is going to better me and my business and not just, oh, that's a shiny new object. Let me get that.
Right.
So that's how I do that.
Right. Because 77% of people who purchase like a premium course do not actually finish the course.
Yeah.
That is the crazy part about it. But I remember you brought me back to I remember when it was like my first $2,000 purchase, right? Girl, I was about to lose it. Let me tell you. I was like,
Okay.
I first came online. I'm trying to learn. I was doing network marketing
Yeah.
and I bought into a product that it sounded good, but I just didn't like it. You know what I mean? But I'm like, okay, I could do this. I can make myself like this and make money online. But it just didn't work. And the way the program was, I bought in, I want to say it was like the $37 a month
Yeah.
thing. And then, you got, there's levels to it.
Mhm.
So you didn't get all the steps. The gurus gave me pieces, but it all didn't make sense. Why the funnel? Why you need the email? It just was like, how do I do this? And so I invested $2,000. It took me roughly about 3 weeks to say I'm going to pay this $2,000. Like I was like literally biting my nails, like
Oh
questioning,
my
like,
God.
what if it doesn't work?
Right, right.
But it was the first like leap that I took to invest in myself, in my business.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden, like the light bulb hit. It was like, boom,
Yeah.
that's how this works. How come they don't tell you this? And from here on out, here recently, I just invested in a new business coach because I'm at a space to where, I want to scale. I have staff. I got to make
Mhm.
sure that I can pay them
Mhm.
and maintain everything. And my staff, they're valuable.
Right.
Jay is an amazing engineer. He can hear that my system is broken from his house. He's like, no, that's not right. You're gonna have to I'll have to come back over and reset that because that's not right. And I'm like, you can hear that? Yeah, you don't hear the little ding. I'm like, no, didn't hear
No,
that, but
mm-mm, nope.
I trust you. Yeah.
Oh my God.
So, having that expert on your team, it makes a world of a difference, or paying that expert makes a world of a difference because, my new coach, she's where I want to be. I'm
Right.
not at 100K a year. She is. And so I'm like, okay, she has a full team. So I'm like, how do I get there? How can you give me the roadmap to make sure I get there? And I remember she told me her price. I was like, oh, okay, okay. I had to take a deep breath.
Yeah.
I
Ooh.
said, "Can you give me the weekend to think about this?" I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
I'm leaving my job, and now you asking for me this amount. Let me just give me a little
Right,
time.
right.
But based on what she has to offer, it is definitely worthwhile for how I'm going to grow. So I'm glad you did say that because some people want to freebie their way through or barter system their way through, and they're wondering why they haven't yet hit that $1 million business.
Exactly. That's true.
All right. So inside of your masterclass, talk a little bit about what you teach your students, how can they join, and why your program can help them build their business and continue to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. So in the masterclass, I teach my 3 secrets on how I was able to utilize my YouTube channel to help me grow from where I was, from 0 to 100 subscribers, wherever you are right now, to being able to get more subscribers, get more views, and of course, get more clients
Right.
inside of your business from your YouTube channel. So it also does lead to my signature program, and which is called YouTube Strategy Academy. And that program really teaches you how to go from the very first beginning step of like starting your channel, understanding your niche, who you're really targeting with your videos, all the way to the end, to where we talk about analytics, we talk about content creation, editing videos, creating them, and funnels, and putting them together, your free offers, emails, because I want people to understand you're not just on YouTube just to be on YouTube. You're on YouTube for a purpose. And
Right.
that purpose is to get those people who are searching for free content, get them onto your list. You have a product to solve, or a product to give them to solve their issue. And there we are. We are now in profit.
Right.
So that's what the masterclass and the course is really all about.
All it consists of. All right. So how can we find you on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook? Where are you? Where is your home?
Well, of course, my home is YouTube. So I'm at youtube.com/Simone Redmond. So that is where I am at on YouTube. Instagram is Simone Redmond as well. And Facebook, if you want to go to my business page, it is Simone Redmond Online.
Oh,
Yeah,
I like
very
it.
different. Yes, very different. Facebook won't let me change my URL because I'm trying to change it to everything matches up, and I'm
Yeah.
like, y'all being crazy. So whatever. So it's
Yeah, Facebook make you go through, they make you fill out a whole, like you buying a house to just change your profile name. Yeah.
so horrible. And I'm like, why can't I just have everything branded the same? It's okay.
Yeah.
So Simone Redmond, Facebook.com/Simone Redmond Online.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. So I'll be sure to tag all of that, whether you're listening to this on the network, if you listen to the Lincoln Road Media Project, you can definitely see all of her information here. If you check out this particular podcast on YouTube, you are a click away from linking with Simone, as I will make sure that everything is down, that you can connect, get to know her, and tell her Ebony Cruz sent you over, so she'll know how you found her, and she can track that with her analytics to
Ah.
know what's going on. All right. So if you had to give, I love to ask this, like one piece of advice to that person that's straddling the fence. All right. That person that, has it, probably needs a little focus on how to take the leap, but they are there, they are ready to go. What is your tip as far as inspiring them, or just advice that you could give them to make the decision and go?
Time waits for no one.
Ooh, I like that one.
Time waits for no one. Time is not replaceable. So all this time that you're spending waiting on the perfect time, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Right.
Like
Can't get tomorrow back. I love it.
can't.
I love it. Well, I thank you for taking some time to speak with me and our guests. This is a very valuable show, very, very valuable content, and your story definitely resonated with me. I love the confidence you wreak out over the screen, girl. Yes, ma'am. It's only up from here, right?
Right? That's exactly.
All right, guys. So make sure you check us out right here on the Lincoln Media Road Network. Be sure to subscribe, leave us a comment, tell us some other things that you want to hear that we didn't mention here, but you have some additional questions. We want to make sure that if we don't have to create another podcast, we can definitely invite Simone back to answer those questions. All right. So you have tuned into another episode of the Professional Woman's Escape Plan. I am your host, Miss Ebony Cruz, the entrepreneur coach, guiding your cruise into success. We'll see you next episode.